how you came to be here in Sacramento. Where were you originally from? And then how did you end up here in Sacramento?
Oh, okay.
Or Elk Grove?
Yeah, well, you know. Are we on camera now?
I think so. Yeah.
Glenn, you got me on camera? Got my best profile, right? Okay, let's see. I want to encapsulate this or say it in a way that I won't use up all of my time in one item, on one subject. I'm a native of New Orleans, Louisiana, where, I was born in 1927. And believe it or not, I do remember as a child, I remember there was a thing called a depression. And at that time, I didn't care, not about any, what, depression, what are you talking about? Didn't care about it until a truck would come in every week, I think, with what my mother and dad would call commodities. Commodities. These were the free food giveaway things, flour, sugar, and that kind of. Anyway, they would send me. They gave me the job. Anthony, go get the commodities. Okay. So I'd go get the commodities and bring them home happily, because that was our food. Anyway, I stayed there. I was in New Orleans. Well, I hate to skip over some of the other items that I think are important. I went to school there in 1941. I think I went to Bellina C. Jones Elementary School. And I was there until 1944. Well, it was in the 40s. And I hate to get too picky with the dates. I graduated from there, and they called it graduation, even at that level. Went to McDonough 35, where I went for 4 years. Had a couple of scholarships from McDonough 35, one in French, one in English. No, one in French, and one in history, I think it was. But anyway, finished there at 45 and went to one of the most noteworthy colleges in the black college system. That's Dillard University. You may have heard of Dillard. Dillard was a university that I was very much in love with. I loved it. The campus, absolutely beautiful. And at that time, things were such that they had to bring in professors. So they brought in professors for us, almost all of whom were highly educated, and a mix. We had women and men, if I remember correctly, and these were people who, had their skin been white, they could have gotten jobs, in some of the other universities, like Tulane University and so forth. Anyway, I was there for a year, and I worked at the New Orleans Port of Embarkation during the war, and I had several jobs. As a young guy, I always felt, and still do feel, that we should try to keep a job in our back pocket. So that if it happens that you get that you lose your job, you maybe can jump into the one in your back pocket. And that's the way I felt. Coming to California, I have to kind of make this quickly because it's a long story. Let me put it this way. It's amazing to me how negative experiences made me push harder toward my goals, which are to finish college and to bring my family out of New Orleans into California. Anyway, I succeeded in saving enough money to do just that. The first person that I brought out was my oldest sister, Veronica, Lily, maybe people call her, and helped her to get a job with the state of California, which I worked for the state of California within 3 months or 4 months after I got here in California. First job was in San Francisco at the Department of Employment, what was at that time called Department of Employment, now called EDD, I believe. And then I was able to get a job from San Francisco in Sacramento after passing an exam that was frightening because I was told it was frightening. So I took that exam and passed it. But there's one little item about it that was very interesting, lives with me today. And that is that one of the job requirements was a typing test. When the interviewer told me I had to take a typing test, I said, no, I cannot type. Don't worry about it, I can't type. She insisted, Mr. Francis, take your test. I said, since you're insisting, I'll take the test. She says, go upstairs and Proctor will let you know what you have to do. You'll have about 20 minutes to finish it. Sure enough, the proctor gave me instructions and told me about 20 minutes, you have to finish that test. So what happened is I finished about one line. And I gave her a paper. She says, okay, Mr. Francis, go back downstairs and see Mrs. Rubenstein. Mrs. Rubenstein says, have a seat, Mr. Francis. Okay, I'll have a seat. The phone rang, and bingo, she said, Mr. Francis, you passed the test. I didn't say this out loud, but Mrs. Rubenstein, you lie. Anyway, I always liken that experience to what we called in the later years affirmative action. And one aspect of affirmative action, not of affirmative action, but what affirmative action was in opposition to, requiring experience or education for jobs where these things are not needed. Education, no, I'll do just one of the items, and that is the matter of typing. Having worked at the State Personnel Board myself, I know how they do it, and I know one thing: they do put requirements and personal qualifications that aren't necessarily needed for the job. That was affirmative action. Hey, you guys are doing this, you don't need to do it because you keep the minorities out. That's it. So moving on, and I was she said to me, Mr. Francis, you have a job. I said, I do. Yes, you're gonna work for us. My heart must have tripped out. Anyway, I started working for the Department of Employment in the same office where she was. In the same office.
And this was in San Francisco or Sacramento?
Go ahead, you can stop anytime.
Sorry, was this in San Francisco or Sacramento?
It was in San Francisco because that's where I was for the previous job, which was OPA.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little too young to know about these things. OPA, Office of Price Administration. Anyway, that job, well, what happened is I'm not being successful in cutting through the stuff.
That's okay.
That job, thank you. That job lasted approximately maybe a month, 2 months maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why. I was advised that the job was a short-term job.
Mm-hmm.
But it says you are en route to a full-time job, but you must take this examination and pass it. And that's exactly what I did. I took the examination and I passed it. Now, this is not the same exam that they sent me upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a whole different thing. But I took the exam and passed it and stayed there a couple months and took the exam for the next move up, which was in Sacramento, California.
Mm-hmm.
Took that exam and I passed that exam.
Mm-hmm.
And was hired almost immediately in Sacramento, where I rented a house, put furniture in it, sent for my family.
Mm-hmm.
The person that was immediately after me, and I think I might have mentioned it, is my oldest sister, the one I called Veronica. And she was followed by the others and my parents.
Okay.
So they were.
Hello.
That's my daughter.
Is this NJS?
Oh, yes, it is.
Hi, Andrea.
Everybody seems to know me.
I'm Beverly. I'm the
Hi,
one that
Beverly.
spoke on the phone. Okay. So,
They weren't even. They hadn't even graduated from high school when all of this happened.
mm-hmm.
So when they came here, they did Sacramento High, Sacramento High School. And let's see, did they go to McClatchy? I don't remember, but I know they graduated. I know that a couple at least went to and graduated from Sac High.
Mm-hmm.
And then along came Uncle Sam. I was drafted in 1950. And I spent my basic and early training in Fort Ord, California,
Mm-hmm.
followed by additional education, additional training in Fort Lawton, Lawton, Fort Lawton, Washington, followed by service in Europe. Now you see, I'm wearing this cap here, but I am a Korean veteran. Doesn't mean that I went over there shooting up folks and all, but it means that I served at simultaneous with the Korean War. And that proves to be advantageous because I get a check every month for my service, and I've had beaucoup of dental work, I went to school, I went to university. I graduated from Sac State in 1966?
57.
Yeah, 1957, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I graduated from Sac State in 57. Partly with units that were given to me because of military service. As a matter of fact, I got 24 points because of the military service. So the beat goes on, life goes on. I ended up, after returning from the service, I ended up getting married. I married my deceased wife. Her name is Noella, Noella. She was the twin of Noelita, Noelita. Why? Christmas. They were born, boom, 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 December 7th. They were born the same day as the Second World War started off. And we lived in Sacramento the whole time of our marriage. And I remember all during this time I was employed by the state of California. And I already mentioned to you the Department of Employment. I started out as a social worker at the Sacramento County Welfare Department. From there, I went to the Sacramento County Probation Department. I was a probation officer. And then from there, I went to the Department of Corrections, State California Department of Corrections as a parole agent. From there, I went to the Department of Rehabilitation in Sacramento. From there, I think I got the sequence right. I went to the California State Personnel Board, where I worked as a personnel analyst. From there, I went to the Office of the Attorney General, the Department of Justice Office of the Attorney General. From there, I went to the Department of Social Services. You can see what I was saying about how many jobs. I had a bunch of jobs.
Out of all of those, what was your favorite, or what do you feel like you've accomplished the most throughout all that time?
I'm not getting it. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, of course. Out of all of the roles that you've had, all the jobs that you've had, or do any of them stand out as your favorite or most accomplished?
Yes, the one with the Attorney General's office. The reason it stands out is because I had tremendous freedom. I was in charge of the Northern California area with a title called Regional Administrator. Oh, that sounds good. When you look at the salary, it might not be too good. No, it was good. It was all right. But I really enjoyed it because I had tremendous freedom. When those jobs were those, I'm speaking of the ones that created a bureau called Crime Prevention. The name of the bureau was the Crime Prevention Bureau. There were no specs, no specifications written for that job, for that office. Why? Because it was the first time in the history of the state employment that we had something called crime prevention. So another reason why I really liked that was because I personally, along with my other colleagues, had to create our own job and know what we're doing. So it was a very interesting experience to go into a position where you don't know what the job is. I mean, you don't know what the duties, the specific duties are. You created those duties, and that's what happened. And also, we had access through our own administrator to the office of the Attorney General. So all those were goodies. We had own budget for traveling. You just don't find a job like that. Now, the other one was the one in the Department of Social Services. That was Civil Rights Bureau. I had 14 members of this on the staff at that time. Ultimately, having, because of shifts and people moving out, it became less with us. It was a different kind of job. After about 6 months, so being there, people were moving around quite a bit. Employment, what else is there? Okay. There's just so much to the...
No worries.
The other thing is children.
Yes.
Wife,
You're
children.
surrounded by few.
Yeah, my wife was, well, during these times, wives work with husbands, and that may be fitting, I don't know. But when I got married, it was expected that wives would work. So my wife was working, first of all, at the McClellan Air Force Base. She was what they call a key punch operator. KPO, key punch operator. From there, she moved out to the Department of Motor Vehicles as a key punch operator, and made many friends. I'd have to say most of our friends came from her relationship with people on those jobs. The arrangements for her to continue working was changed by who? Me. The reason is that my daughter, look at her right there. She was just 1/3 that size. And when I drive off at night to go get my wife from work, she would carry on her, and it hurt my heart. I can't take this anymore. So I told her to quit. Quit. No ifs, ands, and buts. Quit the job. I don't want you on the job. Because it's too hard to get rid of. There were others felt the same way, but they didn't, She was the one who emoted. She's the one who really got to me and made me know that, hey, it's time for you to quit this job. And it was all right, because I was doing fairly good. I was getting in the Army, got a Veterans Administration thing, and did well on my job, and everything was going good for me. And always, and has, and over years, I feel pretty good about what happened. So let's see, now we got all of that said.
How many children do you have?
4.
4. So there's Tony,
one daughter, Andrea, who's a graduate of University of California, Davis. She taught from, well, I can't remember dates, but anyway, she was a teacher. But she had assignments outside of hands-on classroom work. Like you might be appointed to be a consultant or something. Well, that's the kind of job she had. She got special kinds of things. And then there's Renee, who
We're
who was here as his sponsor, I guess. And he graduated from Sac State. Then there's this guy you're looking at on stage, Anthony. Anthony is a graduate of Xavier University in New Orleans, Louisiana. Used to be driving back and forth, going, coming in the summer, leaving, go back to school. He did fine. He did wonders. He was an administrator with the, I guess, administrator. It was a high-level job, put it that way, with the ATT. Now, it didn't start out ATT, but that's you know how they did it. The big bells gobbled up the little bells, so you had Mama Bear, Papa Bear, Junior Bear, and all of that. So all those little bears were eaten up. Then you have, who did I leave out? Marcel?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
Marcel. Marcel worked, he had various jobs. Didn't want to go to college, and nobody, I wanted him to go. My wife did too. And we brought the recruiter in to sign him up. Sign him up with the United States Navy. My wife absolutely refused to sign the papers for him to go in. He was ready to sign. And I was ready for him to sign too. You're not gonna let my son go and get killed? I said, well, I didn't get killed. Well, that doesn't mean he can't. No. So, anyway, that's what happened. But would you believe now all of them are retired? And I'm still here. It's incredible.
It is.
It's incredible. I can't believe it. I keep pinching myself. So anyway, going further, I'm skipping, boy. I retired in 1983. I've been involved. I've been serving senior citizens for a long time. Starting out with the Sacramento County Commission on Aging. Now remember, the county was involved with providing services to seniors, and I was on that commission. Also, I was with the Catholic Social Services that provided a lot of services to seniors. I'm going to skip this all.
It is your profile.
Say it on.
It's your profile. So what would you like to include? If you feel like you're skipping over something and there's something that you really want to include, I want to make sure that you can include it because it is your profile. So don't feel the need to skip over stuff that you want included.
Okay, let me see if I get.
I'm whispering in. This is your profile. She says you make this personal. Whatever you want people to read about you is what she wants you to tell them. So,
Well, I think I've been doing that.
yeah, you have. But I just want to make sure you understand this is your profile.
So don't
Yeah,
skip over
you know,
it
what
if you
lingers
don't
on-
want to.
What lingers in my mind is that I feel sometimes that there's so much detail, not just mere detail, but important things that I have to skip. Or maybe I don't have to skip them. Simon, you decide what you want to keep or throw away. So what point was I making?
So you retired in 1983. Go
Yeah.
from there. And you were talking about the Commission on Aging. You served on that
You
commission.
got it, that's exactly
So
right.
keep going on that,
Yeah,
line
I
of
think I was
reasoning.
I think I pointed out that I was with a Catholic, what is Catholic social service? Catholic social service. Used to be over there by the college. And I served 8 years, and 2 years of that I was president of the board. Yeah, that's right. Now I got it straight. Yeah. 2 years I was president of the board. And the service there was varied, you know. But a lot of it had to do, we had a lot of clients who were quote unquote senior citizens. Now, I did want you to, you may know this already, but I'll tell you. The breakdown that we use in the elderly community to describe people who are aged. Senior citizens, not seniors, yeah. Wait a minute, no, okay, let me get it right here. Centenarians are people who are 100 years old. Super centenarians, super centenarians, what are they now? They're leave that one open. I'm going to find out, think of it at some point. But there is this kind of a thing, so you know the difference. Okay, now in connection with that, I was recently steeply, my mind just ran across this idea. The term life after 90 is a very appropriate term, because I thought to myself, there's so many other kind of categories where people are described. For example, right from the start is Christmas, you got a bird here. You're a kid, you're a child. And you go on and, you have, I'm going to jump across the Sweet 16. Sweet 16. Why can't we have our special day? 21. When I was 21 was a very good year. 21 years old. Fine. Well, that's great. 40 is a landmark, kind of. 40 years old. And the next one, and which may not be as important now as it used to be, 65. And the minute they say 65, they put Social Security with that. 65 years old. Now, we are in an age where I'd say that using the term life after 90, very appropriate. Life after 90. Right in between there. Golden years. Sometimes I feel like it's a golden year. It's not golden. I don't think it's golden, but I feel that we can live with it and live through it and enjoy it. Instead of accepting problems as things that ought to be rejected, and we know we can't reject them all. However, look at them as challenges. Challenges that will help us to grow. Absolutely, and that's the way I feel about it, and that's the way I've always felt. Challenges, okay? I feel too that one of the greatest, not one, but I'm still convinced that family is where it is. Family can make you or break you, but no family wants to break, the kids, but family is so important to our life. Friends, that community of people outside of your family that are so devoted to you and helps you in so many ways. I have spent my whole life thinking about getting through and over the tough parts, of which there are many, some of which I won't even discuss and couldn't discuss comfortably, But at the same time, I feel like if you want to I've used the word successful. I think I've been successful in getting where I am now. I want to be quite a while and see if you have any other questions then.
No problem. Well, thank you. Something you mentioned is the term life after 90. It is the study name.
Do you have to keep talking with the mask on?
I'm doing it to be a safeguard, but if you're okay with it, I can.
No, I know. But keep on.
Okay. I'll try to speak a little louder.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So life after 90.
What about life?
How do you spend your days after 90? How do you pass time? Because you said there's still so much life, and that's what we believe too, is that there's still so much life to live after 90. So how do you spend your time when you're at your age?
Let's see now. Let me play it back to you. Basically, from what you said, you want to know how I spend my time as an individual who is after 90,
Yes.
over 90?
Correct, yes.
I didn't count the years. No, really, but I certainly can tell you some things about having lived to be after older than, 90 or over. This experience with the organization called Life After 90 is one of the greatest things I've done yet. I've always wanted to, I've been a joiner. I've been in a lot of organizations. As a volunteer. This one here, I think, offers an opportunity to do what I've always wanted to do, and that is to provide a service that might help people in the future. Not only just immediate family, but friends and everybody else, and children in particular. I believe in that, and I believe too that I think the kids are oftentimes the most, not rejected, but underserved children. They have a long future. Ours is getting short. So I think that that's what I feel that I've done. If you notice that on my resume, I have had positions that were virtually all serving other people. And that's sometimes can be tough.
Is there something that you would like to have other participants know about your participation in the study? As in, what keeps you staying in the study? Or why did you join in the first place? I understand you mentioned you want to serve others and help the future, but is there anything in particular that you'd like to say to the other participants?
Yeah, for the reason that I'm with LA over 90, and that is to hopefully do what I can, little, and it's a smaller one I can do, like the brain study. I mean, with giving blood, I'm gonna give my heart. I'd already made that commitment. And so what I'd like to see done, first of all, is for people over 90 to have improved memory. We talk, we make jokes about the lack of memory and how we have short term, long term, sometimes no term. So I'd like to see that continue. So I think I want to continue doing that. I don't give monetary contributions as much as I did before, but I always feel that we should give monetary contributions to help others where we can. I just recently got my notice from the Salvation Army, and I have been given to the what's the name of it? Loaves and Fishes. Loaves and Fishes, ACLU in Georgia. The not Howard, but the Tennessee. I can't remember them all.
That's okay. Is there any single piece of advice that you'd like people to, or for you to pass on as a key to living beyond 90?
Yeah, I'd like to pass on that being very helpful with, we have no control over how long we're going to live. But from a positive standpoint, I'd like to pass on to others to keep an open mind, take on challenges, hopefully with seeing them as an opportunity rather than otherwise. Also to have a belief in some power, even though some of the things in this belief may seem ridiculous to us. We might want to continue to think of them and have a faith, because faith goes beyond just a mere belief. Having faith, you're believing about things perhaps that are not really acceptable as an item where things are happening but may happen. I think that's important to have a faith. And not to criticize and put other people's beliefs down if they don't believe what you believe. That's critical to me. And I think too that as a person over 90, that we hopefully have learned to accept people who are different. We must overcome criticism, ill treatment, and good thing slavery is gone. I looked at an article, a documentary last night about slavery and terrible stuff. We're not in the slavery. Well, no, we were in the slavery in other ways. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you'd like to include? Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you would like to include? Maybe anything
I
from
got
here?
I wanted
You
to,
want- Yeah, I just wanted to make
I'm
sure.
gonna show you, I'll just show you
Yeah.
and tell you who. This, here we have
Wanna hold it up there?
King Anthony, Queen Noella. This is me and my wife here when, and I can't remember when that was made. But
This is beautiful.
yeah, she too was born and raised in New Orleans. I mentioned that. And here's another one here. Now I remember this because she started out in school as an assistant, and I used to keep on her and say, well, let's go to school and get your college degree, and she did. So this was made, if I remember correctly, close to the day that she graduated from Sac State.
You look. Is this the both of you?
Hmm?
Is this the both of you here?
Yeah,
You both look very happy.
we were. We had a good life. Not free of all of the, but overall very good. 46 years. And after she died, I remarried, and that one lasted 20 years. Got a divorce. But that's, and you have at least what, two of my children, Andrea and Renee.
Yes.
My nephew here, Glenn, and that's about all the kids here, right?
And Tony on camera.
Hmm?
Tony's
and
on
well,
camera.
there's Anthony too.
Anthony, yeah.
He's well protected over there. I think. Oh no, here's this article here.
Yes, I've seen this article.
Oh, you read it already.
Yes.
Okay, and
You've
then,
seen this one too, I think.
I don't think I have seen that one, but about how your father's passed down your long aging to you and your family members. Here in this one.
See, this one's different.
What is this one? Let's see.
That one was from 2023, right? And that one was, my dad was recognized as one of the oldest living graduates of Cal State.
yeah,
And they did a nice little spread on him, and to enhance the article. So this is going to be a recap of some of the items. A recap of some of the items he's told you. I'll make sure you get a copy of this, because when you're writing your article, some of this stuff will help you.
Okay.
I'll make you a copy of that.
Thank you so much.
And then the other thing I want to kind of prompt him on is, you asked him a question of what does he do after 90?
Yes.
You asked him that question. Well, he gave you some of the things he does, but he engages family, and he's a extrovert. And he didn't tell you that, and I told you that over the phone. He's an extrovert and very social person. So our dad he really likes to get out and go to fine restaurants. So food is a particular concern to him, good food. So our job is to make sure he gets good food. Now, also, he has become skilled at like DoorDash. So some of the more modern kinds of ways of getting food. I've never used DoorDash. He's used it quite a bit in order to serve his food.
they get a lot of money out of me, man.
So he's done that. We had a 97th birthday for him, a big birthday party, And there must have been how many people at that party? It was
At
a
least
big party,
I would say at
but
least
he likes music.
200, yeah.
So we
Love
couldn't just
music.
have a party. We had to have live music. We had to have a piano player, a singer,
Yeah,
you know, those kind of things. So he likes that. He likes opening up discussions with people, intellectual discussions. He likes to read. He loves
Right,
watching
right.
YouTube. You didn't
Right,
mention that, but you know,
right.
he's a YouTube guy. He likes to play scratchers. You know, lottery scratchers. Oh, he supports the lottery commission. And so those are kind of that I wanted to bring up because those are things that he does after 90. He's on the telephone. He's not afraid of technology. Like a lot of people go, I don't want to, you know, I'm not afraid. But, you know, he's skilled at using his iPhone. He has an iPhone. I have an Android. He's got an iPhone.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead, you're going to say something.
I might say that you opened my eyes about these things, and I told you I was passing over a lot of stuff. But I do want to mention that in this music division where he said he likes music, I love music. I don't merely like, I love music. And a little bit of the background. Okay, in high school, music director heard me singing, pulled me out of this choir and said, sing this line here, and I did it, and sing that line, and I did it. And I ended up with the first, the highest position in the tenor role in an opera called, well, it was an operetta, it wasn't really an opera, called Sailor Maids. And that was, who was it? I don't remember. So I ended up with that Sailor Maids job. After that happened, I became the main tenor, or the tenor, of the music department. So I had Sailor Maids, and I had Pagliacci, Leon Cavallaro, Leon something. I had Cavalieri Rusticanda. I had Gianni Schicchi. And so those were things that set the foundation, and I think I mentioned at graduation I had these 2 scholarships. You know, one of them was in music. I didn't go, but anyway, those were scholarships available to me. Coming to California, I began to sing around for people at weddings, birthday parties, transitions. I like the word transition. First time I heard transitions, I said, oh man, why didn't you say he died? And the word transition, and now it sticks with me. I like it too because it kind of breaks the, impact. So I just wanted to say that I have it in my room. I have this terrific television that I play all kinds of music on, and I travel around the world anytime I want. Thanks to Renee. And yeah, music has been really my forte. Love it.
And one of your favorite songs is the Our Father. Remember?
I can't.
What's his name? Pop. The person who sings the Our Father.
What?
The guy who sings the Our Father. You're
Oh,
always.
Bocelli?
Bocelli.
Andrea Bocelli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else got comments? Milan?
No.
Okay. You had some more?
I think you're surrounded by a lot of love. Yeah.
Well, question, right?
Yeah.
I'm what?
You're surrounded by a lot of love.
Oh, he has a big family.
Yeah.
Yeah, his family is let me show you how big this guy's
Yeah,
family is.
I agree.
Let me show you.
And I hope that I'm giving back.
That's part of it. That's part of his family.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna show you, but that's part. Here's the other part. His guy got a big old family.
And did he tell you his sisters are all 90 or 90 plus?
Yeah, she read that. Now, this is on his dad's side. On his side, the Francis family, but this is also the Francis family on my mother's side, which are all his nieces and nephews.
Wow.
And he's in contact with all these people. And when you consider that this is Glenn's mother, that's his mom, Aunt Shirley. And we're missing one sister in here because she lives in Southern California. But the family is, as you can tell, is huge. And he'll engage each and every one of these this family. Okay, call them up, see what's happening.
Anthony, anything? You got any comments? Or Holly?
Let me see that.
The only thing that I would say is still on the
I
social
can't hear what
aspect is growing up. The
and that's the son. In
number parties and different social events Dad and Mom used to attend. I mean, they were always involved in the clubs you were involved with, the Knights of St. Peter Claver, the Mom had the Ladies Club. You guys always had different events and social outlets. So, and it was one other thing I was going to mention. But a lot of that, just the social, as far as the things that you do now to keep that brain going, he challenges people using a game called Words. So Dad plays Words a lot. And if you want to play some Scrabble with him, he'll play right now.
He said that when growing up, you and your wife engaged in a lot of socialization.
We sure did.
And events and joining of clubs.
Oh, we went to parties. We weren't exactly party animals, but we were halfway there.
And he mentioned how you like to play with words with friends nowadays.
Oh, that's mine. I love that game.
And Scrabble.
Yeah, I love that game. But I do miss 85, 90 and golf. Tennis was better.
This is an old pic, the 25th, but all the children are together in this picture.
Oh, wow.
He can tell you about that.
25th wedding anniversary. Yeah, this was at Davis, and across from the campus, well, not directly across. I think there was a Holiday Inn. You guys wouldn't remember.
Something like that.
It was a Holiday Inn.
Might have been a Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
Who's everyone in this photo?
Say that again.
Who is everyone in this photo?
Everyone?
Yeah.
Her name is Eloise Burbank. Eloise Burbank, who married my cousin, Noel Burbank there. Deceased, both of them. This is Carmen. Yeah, that's Carmen there. Carmen Hughes after marriage. Before marriage, Carmen Fisher. She's deceased. This is my daughter, Andrea. There's a thing on it. This is my deceased wife, Noella. Forget that guy.
That's you, right?
Get this one, and this right here is my son who is on the TV. See, look all the hair he has.
He still has hair.
And this is Marcel here. Marcel, he's not with us. And here we have René. And here we have my father who lived to be 112. And that was a party for our 25th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
You might as well just quickly tell her about the last two.
Oh, the
Your
last.
international travels.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm a great lover of Paris. Paris and anyway, here I'm standing near the Eiffel Tower,
Mm-hmm.
and was fortunate enough to have had a couple meals on the Eiffel Tower.
Mm-hmm.
The one I remember most is that I had a meal up here on what you call la deuxième étage, the second floor. And also I had one up top here, and I think that was a dinner with a girlfriend who lived, she lived along the Seine River, close to the Seine River. Oh, yeah, that's the same thing as Eiffel Tower. Ever been to Paris?
No. Do you
No.
remember how old you were there?
Oh, yes. That was in 1951, and I was born in 27, 37, 27, 27. 37 is 10, 47, 20, 57 is 24. I was about 20, about 25 to 27, somewhere in that area. Because I was drafted, I was over 20 when I was drafted.
Mm-hmm. Have you been back since these photos?
In my memories, many times. I have stuff around in the room, pictures, images of Paris and that, yeah. Love the place. Although I've been discouraged, as some of my friends said, don't go back to Paris. I don't know. But it's a wonderful place.
Now, related to international travel, in 1998, he was selected to tell her about 1998.
Yeah, 1998, I was selected to go to Nigeria, Africa, West Africa, I understand, as what is called an NGO, non-governmental observer. The reason for that trip was for me and other appointees or selectees to go to Nigeria and observe elections for the legislature. Those were legislative elections. The United States keeps its eye on everything that goes on around the world, but they wanted to know about that because of the fact that the place has always been dominated by dictatorships. So I went over with a group of about 12 lawyers, and we all were, I think, devoted to our mission. At the time of that visit, he was a dictator. As I remember, he was a military leader by the name of Sani Abacha. Sani Abacha. And let's connect this up with the ladies. There were several ladies in our group. Mrs. Abacha invited all the ladies in our party to dinner. And we thought, wow, what happened to us? She didn't want us in our dinner. So we had the opportunity to meet the highest level of government there. And I don't remember the name of the leader at that time, but he too was a dictator. And these guys are smooth, smart. Wow. But they just don't take care of people. Something about the battle. Okay. We drove around to the various polling places, and we were met by, truly met by soldiers, but met by them in the sense that we saw them, and we were truly met because some of them did ask questions. But they had rifles, and they were marching or just kind of pacing around the polling place. And you know what that did? It just killed attendance at the polls.
Intimidation.
In 98 it killed, and that's what was intended, I guess. Not I guess, I'm sure that's what it was intended. Now remember, that was the legislative elections. We were supposed to return in August of 1998 for the presidential elections. And I don't know, but I guess our money sources didn't put up the money to go back. But what happened is that they had high hopes, high hopes? They had high hopes of seeing a president who was non-military. Didn't happen. Didn't happen, y'all. He was a military man. So I don't know where things stand now, but I kept up with the movement for a while, and just after a while I just gave it up. And I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know what's going on. So that was what am I missing?
That was 1998.
That was in 1998. Yes, it was 1998. And we went to the Olympics, went to Olympics in 96.
96 was the Olympics.
We went to the Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. And at that time, there was a guy by the name of Michael Johnson.
Michael Johnson, yeah.
The runner. He was the best going. And I remember that the youngsters, the adults you're looking at in here right now, they were really excited because when Michael Johnson would run, the youngsters would yell out, "Michael, throw me your shoes, throw me your shoes." Michael had gold shoes, I believe.
Yeah, gold shoes.
Remember that? He had gold shoes, and the kids wanted Michael to throw them his shoes. But he was too busy running to do that. I mean, and he beat him in the 200, didn't he?
Probably in both.
Didn't he win the 200?
Sure, he won it.
Yeah, he made it in the 200, and they were still yelling, "Michael, get your shoes, your shoes." Well, anyway, that was one of the best experiences we ever had.
The other one I want to remind him of is when Nelson Mandela was freed.
Oh, yeah.
We also went to that ceremony. Was that in Atlanta or Birmingham? Andre, do you remember?
That was in Atlanta. It was at Georgia Tech.
That was in Atlanta and Georgia Tech.
Atlanta.
Do you remember the year?
No, I don't remember.
It was in the 90s, right?
Yep.
Sometime. So we were at that celebration. Hugh Masekela played and Andrew Young spoke.
Oh, man, you sure got a good memory.
Another item he might tell you about is when he moved in 1968. We moved, and next door to us was the Lieutenant Governor of California.
Mervyn Diamond.
His name was Mervyn Diamond, and Merv lived there next door to us for how long? Was he there a year or so?
More than a year.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
That was in 1968, I believe. And so we got to meet the Lieutenant Governor of California.
July 4th, 1968.
July 4th, 1968. We lived next door. His name is Mervyn Donnelly. He's deceased, I think. But
Yeah.
he went on to become a congressman.
Donnelly passed away.
Yeah.
Alice, I don't know.
And we lived across the street from a gentleman who was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers and got a ring. His name is Easton Ransom. And he lived across the street from us also. And Easton he works on, I think his office is in Hunters Point. But anyway, those are kind of some of the other notable
EASON.
kind of folks that came into your life.
Ramson.
Ransom, played for the 49ers and got a Super Bowl ring while he lived there.
Amazing experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He got a lot of them. And he also worked for Attorney General. Now, at the time you mentioned that Attorney General was Evel Younger. And what year would that have been that you worked with Evel Younger?
Say it again.
What year did you work with Evel Younger?
1971 to 1983.
71 to 1983.
Sorry, 1971 to 1980.
1980.
Yeah, because I went to work for the Department of Social Services. And, Department of Social Services. And shortly after that, my good friend Jim Malone was appointed Superior Court Judge. Remember?
Yeah, Jim Long was an
Superior
attorney
Court Judge.
who used to wake us up in the morning with a loud voice. And but anyway, he went on to become a Superior Court judge in the city of Sacramento.
Anybody would like some of this great candy?
And I might add
And
that
Bill and Yvonne Green, don't forget them.
well, he's good friends with a senator. Senator Bill Green was a good friend of the
Oh
family.
yeah, wow.
And his wife went to school with mom, right?
Right, that's correct.
Yvonne LaFave, something like that.
Well,
And I might tell you that this may not be, I'm going to give you this little bit of information, which is that his goddaughter played with Sly and the Family Stone, Confunction, Funkadelic. Her name is Don Silver. And so she's a big recording artist. And, I don't know if, anyway, we'll comment on that.
yeah, I christened her back in the 60s.
Yeah, Don.
Yeah.
So she was a musician, traveled all around the world. His goddaughter.
See, like I told you, my life's been busy, huh? Not just being busy, but it's been a very enjoyable life.
He speaks fluent French.
Problems, yeah,
I'll tell you that.
problems.
Okay.
You don't escape problems, you're gonna have them.
They're all opportunities.
Yeah, problems, opportunities.
They're gonna come. You're not gonna escape them.
Let me get you a copy of this article here. Because it'll kind of help you when you're writing your story. Just highlight some of the
In connection to that, they put his
Like-
face on the big billboard that faces Highway 50. My dad was on that billboard in connection to that Sac State
The
situation.
fact that I was in the military certainly doesn't mean that I was in a hot war, but I was in a hot war in the sense that I received 3 death threats, all from my fellow troops inside my own company. One was from a guy by the name of, well, I won't check my name. Anyway, he was my supply driver. I was a supply sergeant. He was my driver. He was from the state of Mississippi. He was uneducated. And I'm saying that because this has something to do with the ultimate problem that I had, I thought of him for a promotion to become a corporal, but I didn't do it because he didn't read well, couldn't write. I needed somebody who had skills like that, and this was not affirmative action. So he grabbed me one night in the tent. We had tents, we didn't have no fine buildings to live in. And he put a 6-inch, well, I don't know how many, but it was one of them pointed blades on my neck and shoved me against the wall. Mr. Francis, you MF, I'll kill you. I said, what's wrong, man? I didn't know what to say. I was afraid to say anything. He says, I'm gonna kill you. I said, what's going on? He says, why is it you put me in the truck? I've been in the truck driving, and you don't talk about it. You don't even promote me. Oh, Lord, I did it. He started ranting and raving and calling me all kind of good names and that. And how I got out of that, this is simple. For me, it was simple because I had experience with it. I thought, when you get in a situation like that and your opponent, pick a person endangering your life, let them talk. It worked for me, not only then, but in other situations. He talked. And I had my neck back like that, kept it that way, let him talk. So, ultimately, I had to say something. So the first thing I told him, or tell him, I says, you know you're not supposed to do what you're doing, but it's all right. Don't worry, I said, because this will be between you and I. I wasn't supposed to do that either. I said, this is between you and I. He said, I don't give a so and so about that. But I said, you're going to double jeopardize yourself. You're going to do something to me. I said, and then you've got to make other reports. I don't care. So my conversation stopped right there and his continued. I finally felt, the tone of his voice told me that he was just about out of talk, that he had calmed down, that the poison that was in his system about me was dissipating, you know? What a relief it is. So anyway, after that, we became friends.
Wow.
Strange. I mean, damn, this guy was that way, and now we became buddies like. That's one of them. The other was on a similar thing that happened in a bar in Nancy, France. I went there to that bar to have a drink or two, and the guys grabbed me, about 6 of them. And they said, we're going to take care of you.
Thank you.
And they one guy put his hand on my neck to choke me. He did start choking me, really, but he didn't finish it. What happened is one, you know, you got to keep a loyal guy around when you're in the service, one or more. When you have officers of that kind of status too. So this guy that came in was the tough guy of my company. He was really tough. He came in there and he said, what the? So I said, I'm not gonna use the language, but what are you guys doing with Francis? Well, he's gonna make us sign papers for sheets and blankets and all that kind of stuff. Leave him go. Get your so-and-so hands off of Francis. Come on, right now, do it. You know, they did like chickens, they just all and took their hands down, quit cussing and all of that. and left. Me and my buddy, they left together, and that was under that. That was under that. That was number 2 where I nearly lost my life. The third one was a rifle put in my back. Here again, we had this kind of a situation. One of my buddies was guarding the ammunition. And he had his rifle going and on his shoulder, an M1. And he said, I walked in there to where this ammunition was. I didn't know I was in the wrong spot. I didn't know a thing about it. He told me to turn around, Francis, or I'll kill you. Oh no, here I go. And I was kind of slow about it because I thought he was kidding me. He wasn't kidding me. No way. He leveled the rifle on me, put a round in it, and there's a, what is it? The little rifles we had where you had to crank, put a bullet in. He did that. He was ready. I said, I better not mess with him, and I left. That was the 3 incidents that occurred, and it was worse than anything I experienced with any foreign troops. That was it.
Dad, going back to Silver Surfer, and I know we can't go on and on, but Dad, you just, wow, you're full of experience. Did he tell you how he worked his way up to become Bureau Chief of Department of, what was it?
Bureau Chief.
You worked your way through civil service. You started off as, I don't know where you started, but you worked your way up worked up to become Bureau Chief or something?
Somebody help me here.
Oh, his hearing. Did you tell her how you worked your way up to become Bureau Chief of Department, what was it, Civil Rights?
Social Services.
I was a bureau chief there, yes.
Did you tell her how you worked your way up? That was my question. You started off as what?
See, he did already.
Okay, I just want to make sure you covered that.
We covered it.
Civil Rights Bureau. Okay. Well, one of the last items would be a photo. I don't know if you want everyone to be in it. I can definitely take different photos, but we need a photo for the newsletter.
Yeah.
If we can maybe take it with some natural lighting outside.
Yeah, that would be good.
You want it outside?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do it outside with natural lighting. Yeah, you ready to do it?